I think to Dan's point, these are all tactics. And the thing that's absent in all this is a vision. And Dan, I know you talk about this a lot. There's no vision. And I think one of the things that Trump doesn't get credit for is that he has a strong vision. And he's also a very charismatic guy. So he's got vision balanced with character that creates a following. So I'm a startup founder and CEO. And I think when you start a company, one of the things that you learn is the vision is the most important thing. It's the thing that carries the employees. And a good metric for evaluating whether or not a founder or CEO is successful at communicating all that is if you ask the employees, what are the three most important things that this company is doing? And in bad companies, you'll get a million different answers and no one really knows. But like I think if you go to the MAGA base, whether or not you respect it or not, it's very clear what Trump's doing, what his top three priorities are. Whether it's borders, peace through strength, fixing trade, pro-American worker deregulation. He's inherited Maha as well, which he embraced. And a lot of the things that he's done, he's also just stolen from the Democrats. And he's been able to get away with that because of his cult-like personality following. And so one of the things with the Democrats that I look at, and this will lead to my two questions, is one, at some point, shouldn't you just concede some of these things so they're not issues for Trump anymore? Right. So he's basically turned the Democratic Party upside down and they've just become an anti-Trump party versus standing for anything. And I was a former Democrat as well. And I just find that crazy because everything I'm watching is just even more and more cringe. Even that podcast that you just showed for the DNC, it's just about the resistance and what you could do to fight back. But there's never any talk about what do we stand for today, right? And I think the only person who actually just acknowledges these things on the Democratic side is Fetterman, like with his tweet with the LA riots. So like, if you just work with Trump on some of these things, you take them away from being issues, and then you highlight the things where, from a vision standpoint, you truly disagree with. And like some of the things that he's stolen from the left is like he's become the pro-worker party. He's the one that's taking it to corporate interest. When you look at like a lot of what he's doing with the Maha movement and going against the pharmaceutical companies, these used to be Democratic initiatives that they've just totally given up. And then things that I think the Democrats should just concede is, the border and immigration, the Maha stuff. I don't know why they're fighting all this stuff. It's like, it's the area where I see the biggest leakage from their base with all these Maha moms and my wife included, we're new parents. So this leads me to two questions. One, Dan, I've noticed watching you over the last year, I think you're more and more not a Democrat anymore. Because actually, I don't know what a Democrat is, and I don't know why you're one. And I'd love to articulate what you think the Democratic vision is and why you're still a Democrat. And then my question for Sean and Mark would be, like I think Trump's declared this vision and the MAGA movement is here to stay, but like he could just do things that others can't. And I wonder if Vance could replicate some of these things. Just like, for example, when he was in the Middle East and he was just making all these decisions on the fly, like, getting rid of all the, normalizing relations with the Syrian government. And that's going to probably pissed off a lot of people in the US government, but he doesn't care. Is Vance going to be able to do these things on the fly, or is he going to be beholden to more of, some of the Republican, constituencies and power centers that Trump just totally dominates?
Yep. Perry, thank you. Dan first, then Sean.
Yeah. So, Perry, I agree with you that the party right now has not had a vision really for the last 10 years. Biden had a little bit about how to get out of COVID because it was just kind of an emergency here and now. But one of the things that Mark talks about this all the time that winning candidates do is they say kind of here is where my party either gets it wrong or is not taking advantage of an opportunity that's on the horizon. So to your point, Trump, when he came down the escalator, had those four things about immigration, cracking down on it when his party was pushing pretty hard, at least the leadership was, for some sort of deal to allow Dreamers and others to be in. He said free trade, we needed to renegotiate. He said we need to get out of the forever wars, right? And everyone knew what he wanted. And fast forward to 2024, bring down inflation, seal the border, right? He was very clear about where he wanted to go. And our party has not. It has largely been Trump is terrible, Trump is awful, he's a threat, we don't have a vision. I am hoping that those who are thinking seriously about running for president need to have a narrative, both personally, what is it that's compelling about my background, and professionally. What is it that I want to do? What have I done to date in either my background or in my governing as a governor or a senator that shows that I am serious about this and I am looking to solve these 3 or 4 problems, right? Don't know what they are right now, but they're going to work on that. I think JD Vance will have to do a little bit of the same thing because he's JD Vance. He's not Donald Trump, right? So you have to be who you are. You have to be authentic. He's going to bring strengths that Trump doesn't have. He's a little more, people are more receptive to him, right? He doesn't have all the baggage of Trump, and some disadvantages, right? He's not the brawler and the kind of unapologetic person that Trump is on some level. So I don't think we should concede immigration. I don't think we should concede Maha. My answer would be we should split them off from Donald Trump. Make Trump look extreme on immigration. Try to claim a center ground where, okay, we need to shut the border off. We need to deal with the bad hombres. But are we going to really deport 20 million people? I mean, that's impossible for starters, right? You just can't get them out. We don't have the money. So what do? What is a reasonable way to have safety, but also have kind of that economic security? And that guy's unhinged and wants to send everybody out at whatever cost. On Maha, oh my God, could you split them off from the base of the Republican Party? I mean, there are
I'm not so sure about
differences with the base. Look, Trump is keeping the lid on it because the base doesn't want to challenge him. So as long as Trump is in charge of Maha, there's like everyone plays kosher. But if you were asking me if I was still advising candidates, I would put a lot of time as to how do we cleave them off.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.